Good morning, everybody. Mr. Middleton here with today's lesson. If you were with me yesterday, which I believe most of you were, I guided you through how to draw a simple landscape using our value scale, using our gradient with our darkest darks, going all the way to our lightest lights. So we can see here's our darkest dark layer, which is right here. And then we move up into our, which is in the foreground. And then we move a little bit up into this area here that we call the middle ground because it's in the middle of the paper. And then it's a little hard to see, but I think you can see that this is a little bit darker, lighter than what this is. So I'm gonna try to get some of that glare off here. That's better. So this is lighter in tone than this. So we have the darkest dark, which is at number 1. Then we have this little bit less than this, which is right around here at 2. And then we move up into here, which is about 3. So you see how it's really cool to have your gradient next to you or to make a gradient before you begin so you can represent these values in your landscape. And we have to remember that when we're really looking at the horizon, generally the stuff that's in front of us is going to be the brightest, or it's going to have the most detail, the most intense colors. But then the further back we get away, further and further through the foreground, through the middle ground, and all the way back here to the background, the colors get a little bit lighter. The details in your objects get a lot more or they get a lot less defined, okay? So, it's pretty simple. The further away something is, the less detailed it looks. The closer it is, the more detailed it would look, okay? So that's why, in our trees here in the foreground and middle ground, and somewhat here in the, foreground and middle ground, we can see this detail on the sides of the trees like I guided you how to do yesterday. And if you're having any problems with that, to just draw the tree. I just draw the tree trunk like so. And then I just put a triangle over it like this because I'm just thinking about the classic trees we would see like in cartoons and stuff like that. But instead of just leaving it as a triangle, I want you to go in with your pencil and then enhance that contour. If you see how I'm doing here, it just kind of makes a very simple tree looking shape like we would see up in the mountains somewhere up in the west somewhere. Then we have this, then you just take your pencil and you just fill it in according to the value, where you're putting it in your landscape. So again, we started this yesterday. Well, we started this, this was 9/4. Yesterday was, so I drew this on Friday, so this is technically the 7th, so pardon me on that. So make a margin or boundary for your drawing. I guided you on how to do that yesterday. You could have used a ruler, the edge of a notebook, or whatever you had as a straight edge, so you're not having to use the whole piece of paper. Make a margin or boundary for your drawing. Again, I used a ruler. How big? At least half the page, okay? But ultimately, do what you can, okay? Because you don't have the materials that Mr. Middleton has here that he could give you. Now, so I got my foreground, I got my middle ground, and then I got my background. Now, to finish off my drawing, I want to add some stuff in the sky. So what I'm going to do is just so I drew some light outlines around some clouds up in here. So all I'm going to do is take my light pencil, and you could use a regular old number 2 pencil with less pressure on it, okay? And what I'm going to do is fill in some sky, make some sky tone. Again, make some clouds look like they're floating up in there, okay? So we want to make this into a finished drawing, all right? And so we don't want to leave just some space that's just empty, all right? So, also, when you're drawing with this, again, you're learning how to use that pencil more effectively, all right? We're not just picking it up and making marks. Hopefully you will have warmed up just a little bit today, and which I will guide us through when we get into class this morning. But again, you're just going to go through and you're going to start filling in your sky, okay? Now in your sky, you could have clouds, a sun, a moon, an airplane, parachute is falling from the sky. You might have birds. Who knows? Be creative with what you put up here in the sky, okay? Main thing Mr. Middleton is looking for is a completed picture, and that you used these tones to represent the different layers of your landscape, okay? If yours doesn't look exactly like this, that's perfectly fine, okay? I'm giving you the guidelines, and within these guidelines, I encourage you to, be creative, but just maintain these basic things that I'm trying to get to you. Foreground is the darkest dark. Middle ground is these middle tones or values. And then the background would be almost to your lightest light. And then your sky would definitely be your lightest light in your gradient. Okay? So this is what we're working on today, and we want to get these turned in by Friday. Okay? So spend your class time today working on your landscape. All right? I'd like to see really try to show some, not detail, but you see the detail on the edges of your trees. I want to see you try to bring that out if you can. Okay? All right. So this is what it looks like, and when we have class today, I'll be happy to answer your questions or guide you however I can. Now, if you finish these early, I'll discuss that in class. But what I would hope is that you might take another page in your sketchbook, and as I've showed you how to do this, you could make a drawing that instead of like an organic landscape, you might try a cityscape, okay? And I'll guide y'all through that during class today, okay? Anyway, see you later. Bye.